Hey guys, it's Gregor, and I'm not pulling your leg. What I'm showing you here is a free-to-play mobile game called Astronest. So think of it as a little something to keep you occupied while we wait on the German battleships and some more Dreadnought news to come out. I'd like to make a case for why you should probably check it out if you're looking for a more intelligent kind of game to put on your phone than the usual fare that only comes up for brief moments of time a la Fruit Ninja or Angry Birds. Of course, for the purposes of this video, I'm recording from an emulator on my PC, which works just as well to demonstrate how it works. Astronest The Beginning is a sci-fi strategy-oriented time sink sort of game that I find considerably more sophisticated than most mobile games out there right now. The basic idea behind it is that of a game about commanding a continuously growing and increasingly powerful fleet of starships as you embark on a number of different scenarios with them. To that end, the game does a very good job of giving you a runaround in regards to just about all of its mechanics. These mechanics mainly revolve around managing resources from planets, using those resources to build ships and research technology for them, and finding people to command those fleets, which can also give them unique bonuses. In that sense that it's not really an action-based game like an RTS, you spend a lot of time making sure certain variables are in place, find an enemy to blow up, and then watch as the dice roll. The downside to losing a battle isn't particularly crippling, and due to that, the game encourages you to try and check and revise as many intricacies you can to optimize the outcome of the fight. It all seems a little bit daunting at first, but like I said, the game does a really good job of explaining how to play the game to you, much better than other games I've played of a similar nature. Give or take about an hour, and you'll go from having a modest force of destroyers armed with basic laser weapons to a well-organized fleet consisting of battleships and cruisers fielded by well-trained commanders with a wide range of skills. Gameplay is offered in a wide range of settings with their own unique quirks then. To get the most basic of grips with the game, there is a single-player campaign split into 3 parts in increasing difficulty, which I wouldn't offer as a bad idea to finish before you get heavily involved in the multiplayer. As you spend more time with the game in progress, you gain access to various forms of the multiplayer component of the game. The main one is war, in which sectors of space that give you certain special resources are fought over by actual players in the game, sorta like PlanetSide 2. Give enough time to a fight, and whichever faction has the majority of points by the time the clock hits 0 gets access to that region's resources for a certain period of time as the fight for another planet starts. You gain points by finding enemy fleets to blow up and doing such. Spend enough time upgrading the buildings on the planets you occupy and successfully beating enemies, and you'll level up, allowing you to further expand your fleet and participate in other game modes. I already mentioned War. The other ones include Pursuit, League, and the Raid modes. Pursuit is a game mode unlocked at level 20, League is a mode currently in development right now, and Raid is unlockable at level 30. At this point, it's also worth mentioning how this game's leveling progression works. As I said, the game gives you a very detailed explanation of the game's inner workings, but it probably won't hurt for me to tell you about the game's 4 main components. You start out with a planet with a number of different buildings on it that give you certain kinds of resources. You upgrade buildings to get more of the specific kinds of resources they produce. You can colonize an additional planet once you reach level 20. You research aspects of your fleet for the Research tab, of which is broken into weapons for your ships, research concerning classes of ships, formations in which the fleet is placed, and alien technology that becomes available to you at level 30. Enhancements to your buildings, ships, and weapons are also researched here. Your planets and fleets are managed by characters called heroes. Heroes are broken up in terms of effectiveness by letter grades from D to S rank. These heroes become more effective as you take them out into battle and can be further improved with additional training and by building Trons, which are basically robotic helpers that give certain boosts and can be assigned to a hero of your choosing. Those robotic helpers are built with separate components that you find in a variety of ways. When you get there, you'll get there. The meat and potatoes of the game is in the Fleet tab, though. You can have up to 5 sets of ships by the time you reach level 20. Each part of your fleet requires a designated ship class and a hero assigned to it. The ships can be fitted in a number of ways then, with slots for a primary weapon, 3 miscellaneous device slots, an armor slot, and an engine slot. The name of the game really then is managing these 4 components effectively. It gets easier as you spend more time on it, but I like the game a lot because it's not the sort that requires you to sink a really large amount of time into it to get anything meaningful out of it. There are enough incentives for you to log in for 15 minutes or so and fill out some daily missions, which give you resources just for completing them and aren't such a bad idea to embark on. But the game is free to play, and like any other game, I'm sure the developers involved in the production of it aren't running a charity. Another important bit of resource worth mentioning, though, is AP. Everything in this game takes up a certain bit of AP to perform. AP generates on its own at a gradual rate. Run out of AP, and you'll have to either wait for it to replenish on its own, or use an AP recovery item. AP recoveries are handed to you like candy when you first start playing, and you can still pick them up on occasion from drops, but you can also buy the AP recovery items with money. Another main source of income for the devs I see here involves very important resources called cosments, which are needed for doing various forms of research in the game. Remember the war game mode I mentioned earlier? The regions you're fighting for give you gradual rates of cosments. Cosments are also the hardest resource to produce on your own, as upgrading the buildings to give you cosments carries an astronomically higher price than other buildings. To answer the question as to whether this game is pay to win or not, I can safely say, though, that this game is anything but. I think it follows a pretty good model. If anything, it's just pay to progress at a faster rate, which is fine to me. In summary then, Astronest is, in my opinion, a pretty well-constructed game with a wide variety of game modes and incentives to keep playing it. It's not deliberately in your face about its monetization model like Candy Crush, and serves as an interesting sort of mental exercise for you to take part in while you're commuting on the subway or sitting around with nothing else better to do. It's free for download from the Google Play and Apple App Store, and if you're interested, I have a link to download it, as well as a PC emulator if you choose to use it in the description below. I know you might be skeptical about mobile games, but give a run through the game's inbuilt tutorial, and I promise you'll probably spark at least some interest. That's all I've got to say. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more game reviews like this one in the future. Give the video a like, share it with your friends, it really does go a long way. Until next time, I'm Gregor. Thanks so much for watching.